Wewe kama huko tayari kufanyia wananchi kazi na jukumu lako ni siasa, piga about turn. Vijana niko nao wengi ambao wako tayari kufanya kazi.
The temperament and threats that have largely come to define President Uhuru Kenyatta's second term.
Honorable speakers,
consequently elevating public expectations and pressure in near equal measure, as the president admitted in April during this year's State of the Nation address.
I must say that I've been under pressure that who am I sacking? But
that was, however, eventually to happen. The president's first casualty being his arguably most powerful cabinet secretary, Henry Rotich of Treasury, who together with his principal secretary, Kamau Thuge, drowned in the 63 billion shillings Kimorer and Aror Dam scandals.
Thank you very much, Bwana CS.
A move which saw the president entrust the powerful finance docket to Labour CS Ukuri Yatani, in acting capacity as Thuge vacated his office to his former planning counterpart, Julius Muya. These changes had been preceded by intense political debate on whether the president should relook his current cabinet's suitability to deliver his ambitious Big Four legacy pillars and shield it from the tough succession battles slowly encroaching into cabinet.
The issue is the president has set a very high standard for the implementation of the Big Four agenda. Time is running. He has a legacy. He has raised the expectation of the people of Kenya. Unfortunately, the current cabinet, as they are right now, I don't think whether they are prepared.
I think the president is a man of consultation. He would want to exhaustively consult various agencies and also among members who may be advising him.
It is also believed that the president really doesn't like hurting people. You know, he's got that soft part. Doesn't like hurting people. But at the same time, he also needs to be sure that when he does the reshuffle, there are not going to be unnecessary reverberations.
The first time the president made changes in his cabinet during his second term was in July last year, at the peak of the crackdown on counterfeits, which saw then industrialization CS Eden Mohamed lose the powerful docket to his then East African Affairs counterpart Peter Munya, in a reshuffle which politically also edged Munya closer to the president's inner circle. Months of concerted criticism and competence questions on former sports CS Rashid Echesa would hit a climax in March this year when the president kicked out Echesa, leaving the sports docket to Amina Mohamed, who in turn vacated the education ministry to former Nairobi University Chancellor Professor George Magoha. These changes and the recent suspension of Rotich have largely not calmed calls for the president to shake up his cabinet, a campaign largely comprising opposition politicians whose camp would most likely stand to benefit from Kenyatta's recent truce with ODM leader Raila Odinga should the head of state begin scouting for new entrants to the cabinet.
Basically, they are angling themselves for what will come into the future. So, to me, that is not something that will hold the president back from doing a reshuffle. At the opportune time, he will do it if he feels that he needs to do it.
Some of these things are not necessarily from a political angle. And remember, we've come together as a country in the terms of handshake, and this handshake was to bring inclusivity and to cohesion, that this country belongs to several tribes and regions and political affiliations.
During his first term, the president shocked even his closest political confidants when he fired 200 state officers for alleged graft, including 4 cabinet secretaries, among them his 2013 chief Ukambani campaigner Charity Ngilu and engineer Michael Kamau, who until then was a senior member of the president's kitchen cabinet, a decision the president publicly regretted days later. Faced with internal resistance against his war on graft from among allies of his deputy William Ruto, and with Kenyatta's newfound opposition allies also hoping to cash in on the Kenyatta-Odinga truce, the president has seemingly taken a back seat, allowing investigative and prosecutorial agencies to act before he swings to action, as was the case on Rotich.
The president has more information than all of us put together. he should crack the whip. He should not tell us again that he's threatening those who are not serious.
This is the high time that we critically look at their performance, both as a collectively and also as individual CSs. Perceptually right now, as far as most Kenyans are concerned, as far as I'm concerned as a leader, this cabinet, most of them have failed.
And so the turn to man the country's financial coffers now goes to a former county governor. And as Yatani wears the extra treasury cape atop his labor mandate, debate continues on whether President Kenyatta should undertake a full reconstitution of his cabinet. Murumi Mwangi, KTN News in Nairobi.